I'm Ari De Bruin and I'd like to talk to you about jobs. I'm just going to explain myself first a little bit. I just want to talk to you about jobs that you can do that don't require a specialist field. So maybe you've done an arts degree and you're wondering how you can actually get by if you're living independently without financial support. So there's a few things that you can do that are available online that you can do, jobs that don't require that much knowledge but you are actually applicable to and they might consider you for an application. So I'll go through the list of jobs that I did throughout my life basically. When I was a young boy I started off as just doing a chemist round. So I went into a chemist and what I would do was I would deliver medicine on my bicycle to people who required their prescription to be delivered to them because otherwise they can't otherwise get out of the house to pick up the prescription themselves, so they need their prescription delivered to them. That was paid $5 a day. I'm not too sure. It would probably have been increased by the time that I've done it, but they still require people to do those sort of rounds. You could probably ask your local chemist if they need deliveries done, and that's for young people, just children who are starting to work. The second job that I came into was at Coles. They had an application process and I applied online when I was in high school, and they had a test that you had to sit, an intelligence test, and I passed the test. I eventually left that job. That job's pretty simple. They give you training. It's easy to do. But the problem is it is too simple. That means that you get bored after a while. It's not something you want to do if you want to challenge yourself or accumulate a broad range of experience. So I left that job eventually and moved to Melbourne because I was living in Ocean Grove at that point in time. Now, when I went to Melbourne, I finished off my VCE studies and I was looking for work for a while. I was lucky enough that my brothers were involved in bar work, but if you go around to bars and you just go in there and you have a drink and you ask the manager, can I talk to the manager please? And you say, is there anybody that you're looking for currently? Then you can probably talk your way into a job if you're young enough and they're willing to take you on. And I think they also allow for those jobs online, but it's good if you show your face in there, show your presence, so they can get a good look at you and see if they might be able to consider you just on first impressions. So I did that barback work for a while. I got a job doing barback work for a while. I think I left that one because I was considering other opportunities at that point in my life of what to do at that point in my life. And they hired somebody else that they'd train up as a cocktail bartender. So that wasn't really a viable option for me at the time, and I had to consider what I was doing with my life at that point in time. I moved to Adelaide. I tried doing a master's course. It didn't work out. I'm more art or literature oriented. And so eventually I moved back to Melbourne and I just continued doing bar work for a while. Just not cocktail bartending, just simple sort of service of drinks over the hand. That work is good, but they generally want a younger sort of audience, so like a hip audience, not an audience, but a staff members who are hip and able to kind of represent that party atmosphere for a lot of people. So they want energetic people, and it helps if you're younger because you have the energy to work with high volumes, and when the bar's being overflooded by people ordering drinks, so you have to be quick on your feet, and you have to be you have to be quick to service, and it is fun because you do meet people your own age, and that's fun at the time. Then I think what happened was I travelled around for a bit. I went to Western Australia. I got another bar job. I was just doing bar work in the outback. That was difficult. They put me in a supervising sort of position, which I hadn't been in before, and I didn't think that there was lots of. It was in Western Australia, and there was lots of drinking laws and regulations that I didn't feel comfortable enforcing myself at that point in time. So I didn't want to hold that position of responsibility in that bar work. So I moved back to Melbourne, and then I got a call center job. So debt collection is what I applied for. They are willing to take on new people. The best way you can search this on the search engine for Seek and things like that is no experience required in those positions, because that way you know that they're willing to take on new people and train up new people. They give you a bit of a training program, about a 2 weeks training program, and then you're ready to go. You have to call other people that you have never met before. So I did that for about 2 years. Now the money's fine for that job. The money is fine for that job. It's simple enough to do, and we're talking about jobs that require little expertise. But so the debt collection is fine, but it gets very negative after a while. After a while, it's not the managers or the staff members. It is, if you're working in debt collection or a call center, you expect to be rejected a lot. You're talking to people that don't want to talk to you, so you get negative feedback all the time, and that starts to affect you over a period of time, and it starts to affect your attitude, and it's draining in that way. The staff are good, everyone's pulling their weight, but it does get negative, and it does affect your mental health quite a bit if you are told negative things about yourself from people that you don't know. So that's wear and tear. I did that for 2 years, and then I saved up enough money to go to India. So I did an internship, a media internship at a publishing house in India. That was, what can I say about that? I did learn some things. I learned how a publishing works, how they try to tap into the education of young people to help them and assist them, and how the publishing industry tries to push their books into education. So I did learn that, and I learned a few other things, just media outlets, just got a little bit of experience using different software, video editing software and things like that. So I did that for 6 months in India. That was fun. I met some good people there who were also doing volunteer internship sort of things in India, and had fun with them just on weekends and things like that. When I came back from India, I didn't really know what to do with myself. I thought I'd probably get another call center job. I didn't get a call center job, but what I did was I got labor for hire work. So that was simple laboring. That was good. I kept that for a while. It wasn't, the problem with that was it wasn't an ongoing income. So you couldn't depend on that for an income, so you are also dependent on Centrelink for yourself to survive. So welfare options would help assist you from making the day-to-day, and labour for hire stuff was extra money that you could use to enjoy yourself and buy yourself good food or clothes, things like that. I did that for a while. That was fine. I then I was thinking about what I was going to do with myself further. I didn't exactly quit the labour for hire work. They just stopped offering work because there was probably a lot of people demanding work at that point in time, so they had to regulate who they were giving the work to. So people were fighting over the work roles and the different jobs that were available, so it was first in, first served for that place. The next thing that I did was I did an Aged Care Certificate 3. I got a bit of financial support to do the certificate. I would say that if you are going to do that sort of work that requires a certificate, do not do a degree, because you get government support if it's the highest education level that you can get. So because I did a degree, I didn't get government support to do the certificate, and I had to ask family to get support to do the Aged Care Certificate 3. So I completed the Aged Care Certificate 3, and then I got hired. Aged care, it was personal care assistant, and I believe that's a female-dominated industry because a lot of men do not feel comfortable doing that sort of work. It was personal care needs, so it was washing residents and helping change pads and things like that. I didn't really have a problem with it. That was the one job that I have been dismissed from. They told me that the reason was because they received a complaint from the resident, but I don't know what would be the actual truth of it. Some people were saying that I was too young to do that sort of work, because people die in aged care facilities, and they were also complaining about me smoking cigarettes because it had that smell on the brakes, and so I will never get the real reason because they probably dismissed me for smoking cigarettes, but that would be discrimination if they admitted that. So I got dismissed from that, and then I was back doing the labour for hire work. The labour for hire work is it was enough to get me by for a long time. I would just get little bits and pieces of it, and I would work for the day just doing general duties. These are basically jobs that you don't need an expert to do, but you need to be able and you need to be intelligent enough to do them. So you don't need a real certificate or anything like that. They just give you the work, they send you a message, do you want this work? And then you take that work. I don't know if the labour for hire is as proficient as it used to be. What occurred there was that I was accumulating Centrelink debt because they were claiming that I was misreporting my earnings, and that's how the robo-debt thing started. But then I called Centrelink and I said, look, I have reported my earnings correctly, and then I was able to fix up the administration error on that side and fix it up, and it turned out that I didn't need anything, need to pay back anything. So it was an administration error once they had checked my paychecks. They stopped giving me work after that because I think I complained, well, I did complain to the labour for hire company that I was getting Centrelink debt and they had caused me a hassle. So I let the people who were employing me know that that they were at fault because there was some sort of misreporting and it just caused a hassle for myself. But that works good, as they do pay you, that's fine. The pay was fine. You don't really need that much expertise, as I was saying. And then I applied again for debt collection work because I had previously worked in a call center. It was at an in-source capacity for the ATO within an organization. I was getting paid $48K per annum. My experience was based off the previous debt collection. Now, the ATO systems are complex, so I believe that what actually occurred there, this is what I believe, I don't know if it's true, so that's the disclaimer there, but what would have probably happened was that the corporation went into the ATO and said, we can do this at a cheaper rate for you than what you are already doing. And because of that, and I was working for a corporation, the pay wasn't good, but the work was complex. So it was $48K per annum, but the amount of work that they were requiring you to do, the level of complexity of that work was probably not worth what they were paying you. So there was a lot of stress in that environment, and I took care of bills and other things and did that for a while, and then I left. And then I was doing labor hire for a while, talking about WordPress itself. WordPress, I guess I worked for because I was publishing a whole lot of content for them and using their website to get my material out there. They claim that you can make an income from the amount of clicks, but I don't think that is actually true. They allow you to put advertisements on the WordPress space, and if people click on your website, you're supposed to get an income. But because people browse invisibly and everything is regulated, the internet, lots of people aren't registered users on the WordPress website because of VPNs and different things like that. That means that you can't really make an income from it. This would probably be present for situations like in India, where they have a lot of people that they could probably make money off if people were clicking on the website through WordPress in the advertisement space, but you can't actually make an income that's viable for you to sustain yourself. Self-publishing. Now, self-publishing I've been doing all along. That's kind of my side hustle sort of thing, that I've been able to sell books to different people or give them away as presents to publish myself and get my material out there. Now, I have made money off of that, but because I've been giving away gifts as books and things like that because I wanted my material to be read, I'm probably at a loss there because I was giving away the books rather than asking for them to be profited from. But I don't think the people that I gave the books away to probably wouldn't have bought the books, so they got a free copy anyway. There were people that probably assisted me, so I thought I should give them something back. So I gave them some of my novels to help them out, and just let them know that they were appreciated by myself in my journey. So currently I'm doing these YouTube videos. I've been self-publishing books. I'm currently unemployed. I've hit a dead end with the work environment, with my artistic output. I'm struggling, I'm on the dole. Because I complained to the labor for hire companies about the robo-debt, I don't think they're giving me any more work. But I got to this point and I was able to buy different things. I bought a whole lot of books and different things to help support myself. I'm living in a unit. I I mean, the thing, I don't own the unit, but I've got a lot of possessions, books, media, different things like that. I mean, I'm sitting on a couch that I own. All these things are my self-furnished apartment. So if I hadn't been doing all of that sort of work, I wouldn't have all of that stuff. I wouldn't have accumulated all of those different things in my life up until this point. I'm 34, and I believe to get to that point of having an arts degree, getting your material out there, things like that, you have to work to be able to do it. So those were the jobs that I was able to do, that employed me, that gave me financial support to get me to places like India, places like Thailand, things like that with little assistance from my family. So that's what I did to become, to get myself by independently and have fun along the way. To publish my material, to gather an audience of some sort or form. Thank you. Additionally, when talking about different jobs that you can do, I did get my white card. The white card is an safety induction course that they use for construction sites and different things like that. So I didn't know how to use power tools or anything like that. It was just general laboring duties, but this was actually hard labor. So I worked on a demolition site, moving away scrap metal and putting them into large containers. That sort of work does pay well, and it's fine. It was also for a labor hire company, but if you did that sort of heavy labor over and over again, you would eventually cause yourself an injury, because it is actually hard labor. If you're working on a demolition site, you're moving away big pieces of scrap and things like that. You do need the white card because there are hazards in that area. The white card you can pick up for about $120. It's a 2-day training course. There's lots of different training institutions that offer that, and that will allow you to do that sort of work. But you definitely don't want to do that forever, because it is heavy duty and eventually you'll cause yourself an injury. I also did ESL teaching, so I went to Thailand and I taught in a primary school. You need a ESL certificate, so English as a second language certificate. There's lots of training organizations that offer this. It has to be CELTA authenticated, and you can actually do it. I did my course online, and that I was able to do that. But then again, Thailand is a bit dodgy. They offer lots of training programs over there that you have to be aware of, otherwise you can lose money. You're better off doing a course within your home country rather than going to do an international course overseas. And that's CELTA authenticated, and then you can teach overseas in one of these establishments. I taught in a primary school for a couple of months. It was just basically basic English level, very simple sort of stuff, and I did that for a couple of months. It's all fine. It's a bit sort of dangerous because you probably don't know the language and you can get yourself into all sorts of trouble over there. I was fine teaching in Thailand, which was, I'm not too sure, a third world country. But I did it for a couple of months, and then I realized that I've lived a disturbing enough life anyway. I'm probably a dark character, so I'm not exactly suited to, I mean, you can tell that if you followed my writing. Some of it's horror. I'm not exactly suited to teaching in a primary school. And more recently, I've done the fruit picking work. So there's harvest trail work. I've got my car. there's harvest trail work in Australia, out in the country. You have to have a car because you have to go from place to place. It's a bit of a hassle to sort out. I did it by myself. It's paid by piece. So that means that you have to, it's paid by the amount of work you do. Now, I would probably be fine if I had other people with me who were willing to pull their weight. That way we could all get into the same car, and if we had any problems, then we'd all pull our weight to fix that problem. We'd chip in financially to fix the problem with the car or whatnot, and the problem would be fixed and I wouldn't be alone. But because I did it by myself, I couldn't afford to constantly fix up the problems with a car if problems were to occur. But that works fine. You can do it, but I would definitely suggest that you get a group of people together, put them all in the same car, so about 5 of you. Once you've got a car, 5 of you, and go out and do the fruit picking work. Make sure it's a place that is willing to pay you and able to do that sort of work, and then you would be fine. But because I was on my own, I couldn't do it for long. I did it for a couple of weeks. It's full time, it's pretty heavy duty, but it's nice because you're outdoors and you get to experience the country. So get a group of you together, go out, do the hardest work. It doesn't pay that great, but it is an experience to go and see the countryside of Australia and see all of these things. Thank you.